Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel Programming Knowledge. In today's Microsoft Excel tutorials video, we would be seeing that how can we create sparkline charts in Microsoft Excel and what is the importance of the sparkline charts. So before starting with our topic of sparkline charts, let us first understand that what is a sparkline chart and what is its importance. So a sparkline chart is, as the name suggests, a simple chart which is used to depict the data. But what is the difference between the sparkline chart and a normal chart? The difference is that a normal chart requires more than one parameter to show the data, like it has two axes, so it needs like two kinds of data, one for the horizontal axis and one for the vertical axis. However, as the sparkline chart is concerned, that can be applied over a single column of data. So if you want to just show a single column of data in a graphical manner or in a chart format, then you got to go with the sparkline charts. So that is why we are going to discuss about the sparkline charts today in this video. So let's start with our discussion. Here in the on the screens you can see there is a table that has a column of products, which are these different products that have been sold over the 5 days of the week, Monday to Friday, and these are its quantities given in numerical format. So suppose we want to compare about the sales data and we want to represent this data which is present in these records in the form of a chart. Then how we got to do it? We can use sparkline charts for this purpose. Okay, so what is the procedure of creating sparkline charts? It's actually pretty simple. What you got to do is just go to this insert tab and there is this option of sparklines. From here you can choose that there are three options of sparklines: the line, the column, or the win-loss chart. So we are going to look at each one of them, but first we would be starting with the column chart. So as far as this column sparkline is concerned, you can just click on it and then this kind of a dialog box opens. It is similar for all the three charts. So first of all you got to choose a data range for yourself. So what is our data range? Since we are going to depict the records of these days of the week, so this data, this whole numerical data is going to be our data range. So we got to just select this data range like this. Then the second thing it asks for is what is your location range. By default it has selected the currently active cell, which is this one, but I don't want my location to be here. I want my sparkline to be shown over at this column or this cell. So I can just change it to this cell, and then once I click on OK, then you can see that my sparkline chart has been created. Now if you just read it carefully, then what is the maximum value of my data? That is 5, and that is the maximum bar that I have got. Then these are these three values that actually exist, and 0 is the lowest point, or it is actually for this particular graph. That is why it is not being shown over here. However, what if I just change its number to say something, a negative number, a -3, which is actually not possible, but let's take it for an example. So -3 is shown below the axis. That means you can show the positive as well as the negative data in the sparkline charts. Okay, now what if you want to show some other kind of data? Like say for example, if you want to customize this sparkline chart, how can you do that? You can just select it and go to the design tab. Here you have these different options, which is in the show group. You can show the high point of the sparkline chart. If you just click on this high point, then this highest point of the sparkline chart would be visible to you, but it may not necessarily be in this color. If you want, you can just choose a different color for yourself. How can you do that? There are two options for that. You can just go to these styles option, and there are these different types of styles given over here. You can choose any of these pre-existing styles like here. Alright, or if you're not happy with it, then what you can do is just go to this marker color option. Once you expand it, there are these different options. Now what I want to do is change a color for this high point. So just go to high point, and from this color palette you can choose any color that you want your high point to be shown with. I want my high point to be shown with this green color. So I just click on it, and you can see that my high point has been changed to green. But now what if you want to show your sparkline in a different color, not in the blue color but in a different color? Then how can you do that? Simply go to this sparkline color options, and here you can choose a different color. Suppose I'm choosing this gold color. So yes, my sparkline is now visible in this color. Similarly, along with a high point, there are several other things that you can show in your sparkline chart. What is it? It's a low point. If you just click on it, then you can see that by default the red color is used to depict the low point, which is -3, and it is actually the lowest point. So that's being shown over here. And if you want, you can also show the first point. So for that, we're just going to uncheck this high point and this low point option. Then you can see that this first point option is checked. So our high point and first point were actually coinciding with one another, but now only the first point is shown, so you can see it here. Similarly, if you want to show the last point, then okay, its value is actually 0, so it's not visible. But if I just change it to something else, say 5, then you can see that the last point is also visible in a different color. It's actually highlighted. But what if you want to show all the negative points in it? Since there is only one negative point, so once we check on it, so only one value is colored or highlighted, that's -3. But what if we have another negative point? Suppose instead of 2 we have like -2 over here. Then you can see that these two values are highlighted over here, depicting that there are two different negative points. So that's how you can play with the sparkline charts with the values. You can show these different kinds of values in it. Okay, so I'm just unchecking this negative points option, and I have this sparkline in front of me. You can see that there is some kind of an imaginary axis, above which all are the positive values and below which are all the negative values. So if you want to show that axis, how can you show it? Once your chart is selected, go into the design tab. In the group option, there is this axis. You can just show it, and there is this option in the horizontal axis options of show axis. If you just click on it, then you can see that this line is visible, which is used to show you the axis, and it represents actually the 0 value. But you can change its representation as well. How can you do that? You can just go to the sparkline axis option, and then there is this option of vertical axis minimum value option and vertical axis maximum value option. So in the minimum and maximum, both you can see that the automatic for each sparkline option is selected. But if you want to customize it, you can just customize it by using a custom value. Instead of 0, what do you want the low point to be? Suppose I want the low point to be 3, and I click on OK. So that is it. Only the first and last values, which have the value as 5, which is greater than 3, is now shown because my low point starts with 3. But what if I want to customize my, say, maximum point? I want it to be of 7, and I click on OK. So you can see that for this, now the 7 is the maximum point. That's why the values having 5 are now somewhat below, which is not covering the graph as a whole or the sparkline chart as a whole. Okay, similarly, if you want, you can just extend this sparkline chart to all these values, and you can see that all of them have now been highlighted. But since none of them have negative values, so only the positive values are shown over here. Alright, now what if you want to just convert it to a different kind of chart? Suppose instead of the column chart, you want a line chart. So you can just select this line option, and here it's all these lines are visible. But if you want, you can just change it to some different colors, say this color. So this is this different color of line chart, which is more visible. And similarly, as in the column chart, you can also just click on these high points. So all these high points would be depicted. If I could just zoom in a little bit, then you can see that all these high points are now visible. They are actually being marked like this. Okay. And similarly, if you want, you can choose a third type for yourself, which is nothing but a wind loss chart. So this is the wind loss chart. What is it used to depict? It is used to only depict whether the value is positive or a negative. It is not concerned what is the actual value. If it is a positive, it gets a place above the line. If it's negative, it gets a place below the line. Now you can see that in all these graphs this something is highlighted, which is actually the high point because it's been ticked on. If you can just check it off, then you can see that they have now vanished, and that is the win loss chart. So that's all about the sparkline charts that you need to know, and now you know its significance as well. It is used to show a single column of data. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.